Okay, I'm gonna get on here and ask y'all like something. Like, you know, if you're paying attention to the things that's going on like around you, sometimes you start to see, or you see how connections, things start to connect. Like if you're tuned in or tapped in, you will see like different things and how they just start to like, you feel like, wait a minute, this it's all playing in order. So, we were all feeling what was going on with the young man when he lost his life out in LA, and then I had made that post about wanting to come, saying stuff about people being lost in the algorithm, and it's really like they're just lost today in society. Like they're not paying attention. Like people are just out here floating and not tapping in, and they're not understanding like what's going on around them. They're not seeing the signs. They're not being connected, and they're not elevating, if you understand what I'm saying. Or it just seems like people don't get what's right in front of them, and they don't learn from those that came before them. And then it's a whole other thing about people's and their morals and their values and stuff. But I'm going to say that to say I drive Uber. I know I've mentioned that before, and I've been thinking about putting a camera in my car and asking some of my riders, is it okay if I videotape them? Because I be having some interested riders, and sometimes I'll say stuff to them and they'll be looking at me like, how does she know this stuff, right? So today, y'all, this is crazy because it just goes to what I'm saying. People are lost and they don't see the signs. And I picked up this lady, and we got to talking, and she was like, I drive Uber too, and I had like listened to her voice. I'm like, you're not from Michigan, you're not from Detroit, no, you from down south. She's like, yeah. How'd you know? I said, I can hear it. I said, I got family from the south. She was like, well, I'm from Virginia. I don't know if you would consider that the south, but she had like an accent. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So we got to talking and everything. She was like, yeah, I really don't know nobody here or whatever, but I drive Uber too, but my car's down. I said, oh wow. So I was like, well, where you going? So I'm going to pick up another car. So I'm like, okay, you're going to pick up another car? She was like, yeah, so I could make some money or whatever. She's like, I've been up here for like 8 months, but some wild and crazy things have happened to me. I'm like, really? Like, listening. So I'm like, tell me what happened. This lady told me that on an Uber ride in a bad side of town, in the middle of the night, she picked up a ride, and the man, in the middle of the ride, he asked her to go to the gas station. And she said she remembered her fiance saying never go to the gas stations at night, always go in the daytime. She said, but because he put a $50 bill on the front seat, she was gonna take him. So she went to the gas station. The young man, he went inside the gas station, came back out with three other niggas, and carjacked her. And this lady's laughing. And I'm like, what? I'm like, wait a minute, what? I said, you still driving Uber? I said, you get the fuck. I said, not even the end of my driving career. She was like, that ain't even the worst. I'm like, what do you mean that's not the worst? So she goes on to tell me that she got into a fight on the interstate because she tried to help some people. They got into a car accident. The lady was drunk, and she went to go in and reach in to help the lady. The lady started fighting her and her friend too after they had an accident. I'm like, what? So I was like, wait a minute. Okay, let's get back to the fact that you still driving Uber. And you just got carjacked. And you mean to tell me you're still driving? She was like, yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm protected by God. I'm like, yeah, I do believe you're protected, but I said you have to understand and listen and heed the warnings. Also, I'm like, you seeing all this stuff is going on and you still driving in the middle of the night. I'm like, it's only so much God can do for you and your angels. Like, they can forewarn you, but are you going to pick up on the message? And she was like, but why are they robbing us? They shouldn't be robbing black people. I'm like, that's correct. I said, but are you in this world? Are you are you in this world? When I asked her, I said, because I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. I said, now, I also drive, as you see, and I used to drive in the middle of the night, but I take my intuition and I got warnings not to drive in the middle of the night, so I stopped driving in the middle of the night. This is connected to that young man too, because when I say people get warnings, your angels and your ancestors can only protect you so much. If you get warnings and they're trying to, protect your life, but you keep putting yourself back in a certain situation, sometimes the light get drawn to the darkness. There's only so many times that your angels or your ancestors can save you, and then they can't help you, and they try to forewarn you, kind of like with that guy. He been tried, he spoke about it, but you go put yourself back in that same situation. They're like, we protected you before, and you should have opened your eyes to see. You don't go put yourself back in that same situation. So with this lady in my car, not only she said she got robbed in the middle of the night by these young men, she laughed and said, well, then I said something smart to him, like, you don't have to be out here robbing me. I got $300 on my ATM. You can smooth out that and leave me my car. And don't just leave me out here. You can take me closer to home. Said the man put the gun in the middle of her forehead like I should shoot you, bitch. And I mean, she just in my car like smiling and laughing, and I'm thinking like, are you crazy? Like, what about this do you find funny? And even though I know that you feel like you're protected, I said, because don't take what I'm saying to you, because I do believe you're protected. I said, but you also have to heed the warnings. I said, and what convict you may not convict me. I said, but that would have been the end of my driving career. So I'm saying this to say, y'all, pay attention to the signs. Heed the warnings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told her, so I'm going to talk about you on my YouTube channel today. And I told her my name was Spiritual Gangster. She was like, wait a minute, I think I've listened to you before. I said, well, tune in, because I'm going to talk about you today. You cannot just go blindly. And believe me, I feel like I'm protected as well. And when I was driving through the middle of the night, I did get some warnings. And I remember when I felt like it wasn't making sense for me to be driving like that anymore. And I decided, like, okay, Lord, I'm going to go home. It was time when people got in my car, when I was driving full time, when I was really, really, really had to be driving. This was like, remember when I was doing all the videos for Vine and stuff, I didn't even look back when people got in my car. And I would drive through the middle of the night. It didn't matter what time I felt like driving. And I think God convicted my spirit like 3 times to turn around and look at the person in my car. To really look at them in their eyes. I believe, that everybody, they get certain warnings, and God, things, or whatever you believe in, your angels, your ancestors, whomever is protecting you. It's only so much they can do. If you're not going to pay attention and heed the signs, you just can't keep on going blindly and not correcting and being proactive. Pay attention to the signs. Understand that you cannot keep going into doing the same things, that you have to like correct your behaviors. You just can't think that you're going to keep getting away doing the same stuff. I pray that young lady did take my message to her, because I told her, try driving maybe like from 4:30 in the morning throughout the day, instead of 1, 3, 4 o'clock at night. And then talking about she pick up people on the east side of Detroit. I'm like, what's going on the east side of Detroit between from 11 to 3 or 4 in the morning is nothing good. I'm like, they're not going to work. I said, people out here is shady. You don't know who's booking these rides, what type of credit card they have, where you might, location you might have to go. You have to, it's just like, with anybody, especially like those rappers, you can't go to any neighborhood. You just can't sit down anywhere. You just cannot wear your jewelry, pull up in $1 million car. You can't do it. And even us as regular people, we know the same thing. We gonna know what neighborhoods not to go into, where not to feel comfortable. Heed the signs. Don't be like that lady in my Uber ride today, and your angels and ancestors trying to warn you, like, look, we trying to protect your ass, and you're not paying attention. We can only save you so many times. And she's like, it's good money out here. I'm like, all money not good money, sweetheart. What if they kill you? How you gonna spend the money? I don't know, but y'all. I just was outdone. This lady was like, it was nothing. She said he put the gun to my forehead like, I should kill you, bitch. And she was like, just take my credit card. What the hell? Uber career would have been over. Heed the signs. All right, y'all. I'm going to come back with more talks with Tonya. Love y'all.